Oh, welcome. Welcome today today is monthly mindfulness. This is the 4th of July here. So talking a little bit about how the season of summer and what the summer does for us and how we can just live mindfully through the season of summer. So living mindfully through those hopefully lazy summer days. So we're just going to go through a little bit, but have a nice longer meditation today. So enjoy that. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the summer and how we go through that summer and get things and what it brings to us and what it brings. We've had a pretty hot summer here, so I know we can won't be surprised by some of the idea of fire being the governing body here from a Chinese medicine standpoint. So again, today we're going to be talking about living mindfully through the summer, embracing the presence and the calm during this warmer season and really a hot season so far. And my name is Cecily Selmer, and I am a mind and body technician with Yale New Haven Health. So we're going to just discuss a little bit about summer, not just mindfully, but in Chinese medicine, the element of fire, what it is governs, and how we can support that. So summer really invites us to move into a little bit of a slower, warmer, a more expansive rhythm in life. Helps us to hopefully slow down, maybe enjoying moments of ease, presence, um, allowing ourselves to get a little bit more light. There's a little more light that we have in the day. We have more time to do things, but hopefully with that becomes a little bit more joy and warmth to that, a little bit more evenly paced days, not trying to get through things too quickly. So we have more time to be present, more time maybe to savor those little simple pleasures of life that we have. Um, I don't know if you've ever, noticed, picnics in the summer, so we have more time for, connecting with others, taking time even for ourselves, like a lazy summer day, reading a book out by the beach or by the pool somewhere. It can help it strengthen relationships, like I said, through picnicking, taking some bike rides, and enjoying all of those times. Mindfulness can be seen in other ways through with our body, where we might even be able to take time to feel the sun on your skin, maybe take time to sit outside, listen to the sounds of nature. So this can really help us physically and mentally as well, supporting these lighter routines. Maybe again, we have more time in the day, more daylight hours. So we can kind of space it ourselves out a little bit, and maybe get a little bit of outdoor movement in, helping us to release stress and just be very gentle with ourselves because of that. We have this extra time, and the natural light cycles are a little bit longer, then we can be resilient, to help us through the rest of the year. We don't not feel guilty about it either, feeling like this is how the summer should be. Um, Summer is really an opportunity to nourish not only the body but the spirit by resting, but also being active in a slower, more paced way. It is such a lovely time to be with friends, with family, having connection, taking your time to do these lovely things. And two, maybe softening your expectations. So having less that we feel like we have to get done, and more that we can allow ourselves. People do take, holidays, summer vacations, where we can take the time to enjoy life a little bit more, slow down, recharge, reconnect, and also be part of that beautiful seasonal awareness of summer where we are balanced, we are taking our time, where we are in harmony with nature and with ourselves. So what does that look like? So I'm going to discuss a little bit today about summer in Chinese medicine. And the reason I do that is it's kind of really incorporates and encompasses all that is summer. So the element for in Chinese medicine, the element that governs the summer is the fire element, which if you're, so I'm in Connecticut here, and it has been incredibly warm. Today's a little bit more delicate, but there was definitely fire was being felt for sure. You know, but fire does govern that, um, govern the summer months. We're talking about fire representing this warmth, vitality, expansion. Um, it corresponds joy. Each season in Chinese medicine corresponds to an element, an organ system, emotions, colors, qualities of nature, and this fire element can be seen here for summer. And it encourages, again, going back to what I was saying before, this emotional um, openness, a connection for social times like picnics, gatherings, things like that. Fire element is also associated with more communication, opening ourselves up. It is fire is considered more of a yang element, which is a more expressive element. So we can be more expressive here. Outward movement is another thing that goes along with the fire, um, the the element of fire. So think about a fire and how it's burning, and it is irradiating this heat. So it is partly it is think about how we see fire and how it is. It can very much create heat, and not contained, it can destroy. That's why from time to time, jumping in a pool or being in the air conditioning if you're overly heated can be a nice way to kind of pull things back in. But during the summer, our the heat naturally rises to the surface for ourselves. Our energy comes up. This encourages us to be active, to be more engaged, to be more open to things. Um, so the social connection is great, but it does require a balance. So if we are, again, fire, too much fire can be destructive, right? Just as an element itself, but it can lead to restlessness, agitation, being burnt out, emotionally overwhelmed. So, um, you don't have, if you have too much of it, you're going to be going too hot, too fast. So that's again, if we're already a fast person, if we're already a paced person, then we might feel a little bit overwhelmed right now. So don't forget to pull back a little bit sometimes and take that time to pace yourself. Um, if you do not have in you a lot of fire and you're deficient, you might really feel great right now. You might really feel like you have the heat is an added element to yourself that help you become more in harmony, having a more emotional balance, being more vital, the vitality really showing up. So the summer is a really interesting time where we can find balance, but we can also feel overwhelmed. So it's important to stay in some sort of a daily rhythm. We can do that through our rhythm, what we plan out for our day, how we're emotionally expressing ourselves, how what our diet is, and we're going to just discuss that in a couple of minutes and how we can kind of balance that so we get the most out of this summer season. A lot of enjoyment in summer. So fire is joy, connection, creativity, great time to start, to get things accomplished. But there's also needs to be some balance in order to really get that emotional warmth and mental clarity and the social connection. So I'm enjoying that stimulation activity, but just not overdoing it. So you need to balance your social time with some alone time, a little solitude, excitement with rest, expressing yourself outwardly with also reflecting. And that's why I mentioned before, can be a great time to go to a picnic at the same time to sit, by the pool or by the water or somewhere and read a book. So have some moments of inward connection to balance out that hot fire element that governs over our summer. Because if we have too much fire, and if we're already a person who runs hot, if we're already a person who is a person who is very outwardly social, possibly an extrovert, and now you add it with this fire element, and you don't pull back and you don't take time for yourself, you can cause you to be irritable, anxious, um, and just not feeling this joy becomes draining rather than nourishing. This overwhelming feeling can get to us. So it's important to support by being moderate in what we do and balancing ourselves when all these wonderful times. I have to say, especially with July 4th, so I have a very active July 4th weekend typically. I live in a spot where we have a gathering at our house, then we go to another gathering, and when I do this, I can, even though I'm an extroverted person, I'm pretty outgoing. I find myself needing to stop and take some time just to reboot and refresh myself. And one of the ways I do that is through meditating, deep breathing. I might typically get up a little bit early. There's more daylight hours, which I really love because I'm able to take more time in the morning to just sit quietly with myself, to do some breathing exercises, and then go on to the next step of life. Meaning I'll take a walk after that, kind of pace myself and not throw myself in as much as I might do in the colder months where I'm turning more inward. But I have to remind myself it's very possible in the summer to be overstimulated. So we want to continue to moderate how much social time we get, how much fun time we have. Um, and this is seen through diving even deeper into Chinese medicine. We're going to talk about the governing organs are going to be the heart and the small intestine. So you might feel that um, these things, the organ systems associated with summer with fire, is the heart, and the heart is the emperor of the body. So it governs the body, it governs the blood circulation, consciousness, and emotional well-being. It houses the spirit, called Shen, and it is the home of. If you ever have met somebody who really walks into a space and it's kind of almost has this magnetic personality, typically you'll find that it's called their Shen. It's very lively and it's full and it's complete, because they have this clarity, joy, and mental presence that is very well balanced. So that would be something that is also governed over in this time period of summer. It's high time, if you will. The small intestine is also part of that. It it supports the discernment by separating um, useful weight, getting rid of waste physically and emotionally. So it's a great time. Summer is a great time to really care for these organs. So setting, well, again, fire is the element, so social settings. It's also really important to have nurture your emotional health to clear your community from. So this, interesting. Oh, there we go. So, we can get very restless if we're this time of year, if or anxious if we are overstimulated. So what this needs to look like is nurturing our emotional health. We need to rest. So make sure not to get to bed too late. I know when it's lighter out, we have a tendency to sit maybe with friends, with family, and talk and connect, which is lovely. But it's important to still set a routine and have a nice regular bedtime. Get plenty of fluids, especially with the heat. The body needs it. Appropriate emotional expression. So something where we are again able to communicate, no, I can't make it to this, or I have to leave this function at a certain time because I need to get going. I need to get to bed. I need to take care of myself. I need to get the things that we still need to get done, laundry, dishes, things like that done. Those can go to the wayside in these summer months. When we do things like practicing breathing, a great thing to do, and do every morning in the summer, is I will do some breathing exercises and really focus on the heart as I do that, as that's the governing organ right now. To take time to get those moment of quiet reflection and stabilize that Shen that is that is the governing body right now. So having that balance can help support the emotional well-being that is really in full expression right now in the summer months. That way, when we do that, we can have balanced the joy, have balancing our harmony. Everything's kind of supported and in sync right now. So here is some real world ways to do this. So what does this look like, right? So we might be able to feel that everything is very fiery right now, but and a lot of fun and everything's going on. But one of the greatest ways, and I just talked about it, is to get a nice morning walk in, maybe get that cool air, even if you're not able to, if you live somewhere where you're not able to, get out and walk right away, even crack open the window and get some nice breathing exercises, maybe some, stretching, things like that, gentle movement um, that helps support circulation and just this mental clarity. So stretching, yoga is lovely. It helps to kind of take the fire and stretch it out, if you will. Any of these stretchings, if you stretch, if you're breathing, you're taking the fire and you're spreading it out over out the greater distance, so it's not so compacted into your being. Um, Gardening is another really wonderful thing to do, even if you're in container gardens, little gardens, whether it be flowers or seeds. I do garden myself. I'm not a giant, I don't have a lot of land, so I have a couple of small garden boxes and actually got into container gardening because it's really more manageable. But I'll go out in the morning as that's, something I do is I walk outside too with my I've been drinking matcha, so I'll go out with my matcha and I kind of just like look at my garden, just kind of see how it's going. So, noticing the progression that is going through. If it needs water, I'll be watering it. This is the time that you can do kind of offer some more offer yourself more these grounding activities because there is more time in the day. So again, gentle movement, breathing exercises when you wake up. Set a little extra time in the morning in the summer to get some breathing, to get some stretching, to get a little connection with nature, whatever that might be. If you really feel like it, that's a great time to go ahead and maybe even get a gentle bike ride in. So the idea is to really take the morning, the cooler hours in this heat of the summer, and take to balance the heat that is the fire element, and go ahead and do activities in that morning time. It's the coolest time of the day that are nourishing and not draining. So things like, again, breathing, stretching, gardening, a gentle walk, something like that, because that can help balance the heat of the summer to prevent any burnout that you might get, because it can happen easier than we think, especially especially in the very hot time we've had recently. So how can we support this fire energy? Again, if you've been to any picnics recently, you might have found yourself looking for the popsicles or the watermelon because those things like cool, hydrating fruits and vegetables can be kind of, balance out that heat of fire. So seasonal fruits, nice salads, anything with the high water content can help regulate that internal heat. Adding additional water to your day. Again, I have taken myself and kind of, I have to say, pulled back from the coffee as it's dehydrating and been drinking something a little more of a green tea, matchas, things like that. And I've found a lot of really been enjoying it. So just something I can personal experience. You know, a lot of a lot of salads. I can tell you that in my house we've been making just sliced tomatoes, perhaps for dinner. Actually, it's tomato sandwiches. Just the heat has been really brutal here, so we found some cooler foods to to eat. So emotionally nourishing can be fire energy thrives on those shared meals. So again, time of the year for lovely picnics, maybe even if you are, if your extended family is not, it's incredibly large or your friend circle is smaller, see if you can find just like one or two people and go out and have again, a nice little afternoon lunch somewhere outdoors, a little conversation, maybe even a coworker at lunch if you're able to go outside and take and just having a few moments to talk with each other and share. It's a time that it just is in is quality time. Fire thrives on connection. So doing these kind of things really just um, brings brings up this connectivity. So also though balancing at the same time, fire really balances from this balance. Otherwise it can get out of control and be incredibly destructive. So we don't want to do that. So try not to overexert yourself, whether it be from physical overexertion, digital stimulation is another one. Too much on your phones. Um, that can be at any point, but really especially in the summer, in the heat of the summer, because we're already extending ourselves outwardly. So that's also another way to extend ourselves outward. So we don't want to do that too much because it can be even further draining. Make sure we have nice wind down rituals, things like bedtime rituals. Again, those two pillars of the day, that morning and that evening ritual to kind of help ourselves to have wind down, to have a little quiet reflection. And again, what does that look like? Again, going back to almost the same thing, finding moments in nature, finding taking a gentle walk, hydrating ourselves in a way that could be something like a gentle chamomile tea, where we're just quiet and taking a time to get into a routine, maybe even taking our showers at night to kind of cool our body and release any fire energy we've been burning throughout the day. That's another activity that could be feel that way. So again, what does it look like making the most of our lazy summer days? Take a couple extra days if you can. Um, you in our culture, I feel like that our worth is very much is equated with our busyness, so how busy are we, is how worthy we are of, this life, if you will. So embracing that lazy summer day is a really almost radical way to um, a radical act of our self-care. So we allow ourselves to slow down. We allow ourselves to be deeply connected to our present moment. And that can be in reading, journaling, cloud watching. Go get yourself, if you have a space, go get yourself a hammock. I got to tell you, I have one, and I will find myself going over there into the hammock because it really gives me a moment here and there to connect with nature, with even loved ones. I know that sounds funny, but my dog will even come up and put her head on me as I'm sitting in a hammock, just saying, "Hey, I'm here." So meditation and breath awareness can be practiced to help us throughout the days, picnics, afternoon naps, take a nap, go to the beach, maybe watch the sunset. Um, if you need to do it, make yourself a checklist for the summer. If you're that a kind of person that likes, a list, likes what that organization, get yourself a summer bucket list so you can get through the summer feeling and reaping the benefits of those lazy summer days. It really does help support um, our body by embracing the season that is the summer. So, summer really does invite us to slow down. And I don't know if I have a vision in my mind of I lived in Florida for a year and it was very hot there. And I just remember going to, I think it was it was an alligator park. And I remember they had this beautiful veranda and there was ceiling fans. And I completely and understood wholeheartedly why people sit and have lemonade on a porch because I remember saying to my husband, "This is it," because it was so hot and just sitting, and we found ourselves in rocking chairs, and I remember chit-chatting and just talking about a whole lot of nothing. And that being beautiful at that time and kind of carrying that in. And that is a vision I have in my mind of a lazy summer afternoon. It's taking as much as you can to slow down a little bit because again, what we needed to get done in a winter month, there's only so many hours of daylight. We can stretch it out a little bit here and pace ourselves a little bit more. It doesn't mean bring more into the day. It means space it out and give ourselves that sustained energy throughout the day and inner peace we can with this stretching out of this balance, stretching out of our time. So, honor that fire element and know that it is not only fire in that accomplishing things, but it also takes us to a place where we need balance and care and a little bit of a natural rhythm. And the vitality comes from being this balancing the warmth balancing by being connected, by resting and leading ourselves to an emotional clarity and peace through this savoring this warmth and this connection. So again, get outside. Use those two bookends of the morning and the evening to find a little bit. Set your alarm 15 minutes early, 20 minutes early, and see what it feels like if you don't already do that, to take a little bit more time to really just enjoy the quietness of the morning and then maybe again in the evening doing the same thing, taking a little bit extra time, to soak your feet in cool water or using, these elements to help us balance our day. And again, so now we're going to move on and do a little meditation here. And we're going to just do a guided meditation. And I wouldn't be summer if I didn't do a little bit of a beach guided visualization. So I will have this um, picture. As you can see, water does kind of balance out the fire element. So, if you have a chance, go to a pool, go to a beach. Like I said, even just get a little kiddie pool and put some cool water in it, just to feel that and give yourself the time and the space to do that. But for now, I'm going to ask you to find a nice, comfortable position and try to see if I can noise suppression off because it has a tendency to take away my music. And so we're just going to go ahead and you can either close your eyes or keep them open um, on whatever you find comfortable for yourself. If you have them open, I have that visual of someone surfing, so making the most out of a beautiful summer day. Well, I am not a surfer. I know that some people in my family have tried it and love it. So you can find yourself imagine that water element here. And so we're going to start by sitting up nice and tall, but not overly strained or stressed. I want you to sit in a comfortable position. And we're going to kind of land ourselves, go through the seasons here and land ourselves in the fall first as we make our way into the beautiful summer days. So as you settle down, I want you to think of yourself, bringing yourself to a cool and crisp fall day. Maybe the smell of the wet leaves. Maybe there's some gray puffy clouds above. Inhaling, exhaling, and preparing yourself to now transition into the weather that's going to become cooler and cold, the winter months. As you breathe in gently again, think of the chilly winter days. Think of large mounds of snow that might be covering the ground, the trees, the streets. Inhaling this cold air and releasing, transitioning our mind into the first day of spring, thinking of the birds that chirp in their nests, of the flowers find their way up through the soil. And now bringing ourselves to the summer season. And just noticing how each season has its place, and each season brings this balance into the world, the balance into our lives. And really sitting with the summer and sitting with the heat of the summer. As we dig deeper and we go deeper, settle into your chair. And at this point, not trying to control your breath at all, just paying attention to it as it enters and leaves your body. With every breath, your body becomes more and more relaxed. Imagining that you are at a seashore on a very beautiful day. It's a perfect day, perfect time of day, perfect time of year for you to be at the beach. Imagining the warmth of the sun on your face, on your shoulders. Feeling that warmth absorb into every cell of your body, and even opening yourself up a little bit as you sit. Opening your heart, feeling it. Warm your chest. Maybe there's a slight breeze blowing that carries any mist from the water to cool you gently. Imagine how refreshing this feels on this hot day. Even imagine the smell of this air. Taking a deep breath in and releasing. Looking up and down the beach, left and right, noticing how expansive the sand is, the color, the texture, how it even sparkles a bit like glitter in the sunlight. Imagine that you're standing in the dry, soft sand and feel it, the warmth between your toes, the warmth on your feet. Take a few steps, feeling its warmth, its softness, almost like a little foot massage. With each step, you move closer to the water's edge, and now you walk and feel the firm, cool, wet sand. Noticing the waves gently gliding towards you. And as they do, gradually smoothing out your footprints. Gently taking your eyes and gazing towards the water's edge, all the way to the horizon. And then up close, noticing the waves washing and receding back, washing and receding. This repeated rhythm of the waves. And taking time to really bring this into your being, just letting it happen and watching. Looking deeper at the water's edge, noticing the color, meeting the sand, the waves, rolling in and going back out over and over and over. Notice the dancing light, almost playfully moving across the water in a rhythm. All of these colors, light, glittering, noticing it all. Letting yourself feel this expansiveness of the sky, of the surf, of the sand. Breathing it in and filling yourself with this brightness and light. Taking a deep breath in, releasing. As we are now at the water's edge, if you're comfortable, you might even imagine going into the water, feeling the coolness of the water. Knowing that you are safe in this little space in the water, but warmed by the sun, cooled by the water. And as comfortable as you are going in, as far as you're comfortable, go ahead and just feel that, whether it be just your toes, your ankles, your waist, or swimming completely and submerging yourself, whatever you're comfortable, feeling that water glide along your skin. perhaps floating. And whenever you're ready, bringing yourself out of the water. And as you walk up through the sand, you're going to find a nice, clean, dry towel. You can go ahead and lay down on the towel, feeling the warm sand beneath mold to your body. Notice how this warmth, this firmness supports you and just allows you to relax fully and deeply. Letting this warmth, letting the sand and the sun comfort your body, comfort your mind, support you. Breathing, releasing, relaxing on this beautiful beach. Now when you're ready, slowly and very gently bring yourself back and bring your attention to the space you are in now. Feeling the chair beneath you supporting you. You feeling the air around you. Taking a deep breath in to regain your alertness and attention, and releasing. Opening your eyes, stretching your muscles, becoming fully alert and aware of your surroundings. Letting the balance of the season fully absorb into you now. Taking a nice deep breath in, letting go. Knowing that you can come back to this space at any point, at any time in the day that you need to. So bringing ourselves back to our space that we are in now, and bringing ourselves into that idea of summer and just living mindfully through the summer and making it okay to be less hurried and less busy. So I encourage you to take the mornings, to take a little extra time to balance the heat of the summer by doing some cooler, quieter activities, both in the morning and in the evening. Maybe to make some nice cooling salads, to be extra hydrated. While we want to get our time and connections with our friends and our family and our loved ones, also taking some time for ourselves to balance that connectivity with others in the heat of the summer. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have found this helpful. I hope you're able to find some balance in your summer days. And again, see you next month, August, and enjoy every moment of it. Thank you. Take care.